NBA fans, welcome back. I am going to do a series preview for every single series, at least in the first round. We'll see how it goes. If the Sixers somehow lose in the first round, I'm probably going to fall off the face of the earth before the playoffs end, so that's not going to happen. But I'm going to do a series preview. I'm going to give you my pros and cons of each team, my prediction at the end of the video. Let's get into it. Let's start off with my personal favorite series, and personally, I think it's going to be the best, most competitive series in the entire first round. The New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. Let's get into it. But like the video, subscribe to the channel, get me to 1,000. I am so close, guys. I have been right where I'm at for the past couple of weeks now. I don't know. Please, from the bottom of your heart, just subscribe. Let's start off with the Knicks. Personally, I really actually want to say that I think this matchup is so phenomenal. I just think the offense versus defense type of matchup that this series is promising is going to be at least the 6-game series. I would be surprised if either team took it before 6, and I wouldn't be surprised if either team won either, which is going to be so exciting to watch. I personally have this series going 6 or 7 games. That's just going to be my first initial reaction. Let's talk about the Knicks. Let's talk about pros and cons. I love the way the Knicks play, but my only knock right now is not really a knock, but I would like to see how Julius Randle handles clutch, crunch time, playoff basketball minutes, because I have seen Knicks games where Julius Randle, to me, can close out games. He really, really can. He's a really good player, but when it comes down to the final 2 minutes, I don't know how much I trust Julius Randle taking that game-winning shot. Against the Sixers especially, he had a couple opportunities in the final 35 seconds of a game against the Sixers earlier this year that he could have hit and would have won the game versus Philly, but he took bad shots. I love Julius Randle. He's better than I've ever thought he was going to be. He's going to be an All-NBA player this year, no doubt about it. But I think experience-wise, it's not there yet, and I think his shot-taking in the final possessions of a basketball game are still not there yet. I don't know how much I trust him with the last 15 seconds tie game, down 1 with him the ball in his hands. I don't know. That's my knock with the Knicks. My pros though are the Knicks are a good team. Like, they're good. Like, they're really good. Ever since getting Derrick Rose, I'm pretty sure they're like 24-11. Tom Thibodeau is absolutely a coach of the year type of candidate this year. The way him and Julius Randle have worked together, the way Julius Randle has played, the way Emmanuel Quickley has played, Derrick Rose, RJ Barrett has had such an emergence of a season this year. Good for him, because I didn't think he was going to be any good before last year. And then after last year, I just thought he wasn't going to be any good, but he has improved as a shooter especially. This team is good. Nerlens Noel is, to me, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I think he's getting slept on a lot, and I think it's going to be unfortunate, but I don't think he's going to make an All-NBA defensive team, and he should. He really, really should, because Nerlens Noel has had a phenomenal season. I like the way this Knicks team is. Reggie Bullock is a knockdown shooter. Knockdown. Alec Burks brings you such good scoring off of a bench, and they have veteran guys that have been there, done that, and they also have just young guys who can run up and down the court and play good basketball. Tom Thibodeau is a great coach, and he's a great win-now coach, and that's what the playoffs are for. It's win-now. So I just think being one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA all year long, the New York Knicks are really ready to play playoff basketball. Their team is constructed for the playoffs, and it's going to be a tough matchup for Atlanta, but that gets me into Atlanta. My cons for them are I don't trust Trae Young. I don't. I think he's going to be the best player on the court. I think he's better than Julius Randle, probably. I mean, you can't really compare the two, and Randle has had probably a better season, but as a player in the top 100 rankings, I probably have Trae Young a little bit higher than Julius Randle. So that's a plus. And pros are, Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks can go off for like 120 points on any given night. But my cons are I don't trust Trae Young. I don't trust the style of player that he is, and I don't trust how he is, especially in the playoffs. They're inexperienced, Atlanta is, and Trae Young is the worst defender of my generation in his first 2 seasons. So I don't know how much I can really trust Trae Young as an NBA player. First 3 seasons, by the way, this is not his second season. I don't think I trust Trae Young in the playoff series, but that man can give you 40 on any given night, The Atlanta Hawks are the better team on paper. The Atlanta Hawks are a deep team, but so are the Knicks. That's what makes this series so interesting. That's what makes this series so exciting for me to watch, because I just think it's going to be really good basketball regardless of who is in the game. My thing with Atlanta is they have finished in the 5th seed this year, which is insane to say because of the amount of injuries that they've faced. Probably they have been more injured than any other team in the NBA this year. And I think that says so much about their team and Nate McMillan especially. I was a big Lloyd Pierce fan. I thought he did a bad job in Atlanta, but I also thought he was the scapegoat. Nate McMillan came in and turned that team around almost immediately. Literally instantly, that team became better. What made Atlanta so much better was they started playing defense, right? And I think having John Collins, Trae Young, and whoever the hell is healthy for them, they're a good team. And I think it's going to be tough for New York to beat a team like Atlanta because of how talented and how offensively strong Atlanta can be on any given night. That being said, I think that I give this advantage to the New York Knicks. I personally believe the Knicks are going to win this series in 7 games. That's my prediction. I think they're going to play at MSG, that Game 7, and it's going to be a must-watch basketball game. I'm excited for that. I'm hoping for that. I'm pushing for that. I'm rooting for that. Every positive thing you can say about that, that's what I'm doing. I want to see Madison Square Garden absolutely going crazy on a Game 7 of a playoff game for the Knicks. Not the Big East tournament, not the ACC tournament or whoever plays there anymore. It's going to be exciting, and I really believe that the Knicks are going to win this series. I tend to lean towards better defensive teams than offensive teams when it comes to playoff times, because I don't think Trae Young's going to get a lot of the foul calls that he tends to draw in the regular season. I think the Knicks are going to play really well at home, and all you got to do is win 4 games in this series. I think the Knicks' defensive firepower is going to be stronger than the Atlanta Hawks' offensive firepower. And the Knicks aren't the worst offensive team either. I think Julius Randle can give John Collins some issues. I take the Knicks in this series 7 games. So we'll see what happens. Peace out.